Hey, it's B Dollar again, and today we're actually here to talk about Backlash. And man, honestly, I don't really have a lot to say about this show, especially going into it. Honestly, WrestleMania was like what, a week and a half ago, so this show came by very, very fast, and it was only really one match I was looking forward to on this show. I feel like they kind of had to put some things on here at the last second, but my God, WrestleMania was like about a week and a half or two ago. But we're already at Backlash. It's Tampa, Florida. So let's get right into this whole thing, shall we? Obviously, we got some WrestleMania rematches and a match that probably should have happened in WrestleMania too. So let's get past the show because it's not really a lot to talk about going into Backlash. So let's talk about the first match that kicked off this entire thing. Obviously, it was on ESPN and the ESPN Unlimited app. So I guess you could catch it on TV for the first hour if you got ESPN and then check it out on the app after. Honestly, I did not know how early this show came on today. Honestly, this show ended like about 7:45 my time at night. It started at about 5 o'clock, I believe. So this show is very early, but then again, with 5 matches, this show shouldn't go on that long. But WWE loves to stretch time when it comes to ads and commercials. But enough of that because we get enough of those right now. We do kick it off with Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker, a match that probably should have happened in WrestleMania, but due to injuries and a whole bunch of other stuff that has happened with both of these guys, the match is finally happening. No, honestly, I probably would have thought this was the best match out of the entire night. And yeah, he had a couple botches here and there. Um, between both of these guys. I know they have Rollins immediately. I know he like jumped over the spear when Braun tried to hit him with it. Rollins tried to go for like a dive to the outside. Breaker, throwing him. I think he leaped over like the barricade or something and ended up like clotheslining Seth in, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, they ended up fighting on the floor. Then they started punching outside. Breaker, I know he ended up got him back in the ring and like tried to go for, like another suplex and whatnot, but Rollins dodged it. Fans chanted, "Let's go, Rollins!" Rollins was very over with the crowd here in Tampa. Uh, Breaker, he does the whole run across the rope thing, hit the clothesline for a 2 count, hits a few suplexes on to Seth right after, but Seth ended up coming back. I know he tried he hit a Hurricane Rana, which looked pretty bad, but then Breaker did end up just like hitting a moonsault right after. Like I said, there was a few botches in this match that did not really look good. Breaker, basically ended up throwing Rollins out to the floor then, and he tried to charge him, but Seth him like a super kick in midair, which they ended up getting in by 10, which was kind of crazy. As soon as the match began, these guys started brawling, but the ref never counted and stuff until he didn't count and the match had already started. So they tried to say something about the refs letting this happen because of what they've done and everything, how they've been fighting each other, but just other than that, Rollins is going for the curb stomp then, even like blowing a kiss at Heyman. Breaker ended up getting out of the way, hitting him with like a big suplex of his own, did like a gut buster, throwing him in the air. Um, right after that, what was it? Breaker, he tried to hit Rollins to the corner, hit like I think it was like a Seth hit him with a buckle bomb, and then Breaker immediately came back with a clothesline. It was like a lot of reverse not finishers, but reverse moves here. Rollins doing his whole Falcon Arrow thing from the top rope, and what he did his suplex was gonna go for the Falcon Arrow, but Breaker ended up hitting his own suplex with a Falcon Arrow, which was a big 2 count. Fans chanted, "This is awesome!" Then right after, Breaker, he tried to go like for another Frankensteiner, if I'm not mistaken. Seth ended up landing on his feet then. He ended up hitting Braun with like 2 super kicks right after that. Tried to go for a third one, but Braun ended up stopping it. Seth hit a pedigree then, which did look pretty rough. He ended up hitting another curb stomp then right after, but Paul Heyman got on the top rope, getting involved then. Rollins looked at him. He had a chair and pulled it out. I guess he was just waiting on the division to come out and attack him. And yes, of course, Austin Theory and Logan Paul did come out and try to attack Seth Rollins. Seth ended up beating up both of them with a chair. Then he ended up chasing Logan Paul to the back. He got back in the ring and immediately got hit with a spear. Didn't really look as powerful, but it was a near fall. Breaker was going to go for another spear then, but he ended up pulling down the straps. He went forward, but Seth hit him with a midair pedigree right there and then. And then he tried to go for a curb stomp off the mid rope, not middle rope, but like the middle rope basically of the turnbuckle. But Braun ended up hitting with a spear from midair, then hit one more spear and won the match. So Braun Breaker obviously won. I know Seth kind of had it out for it because obviously the division was going to get involved and stuff. But honestly, this match should have happened in WrestleMania. Yeah, it was a few bad spots here, but I think they did kick off the show pretty hot. the crowd was definitely with it. So, did I expect Seth to win? Kind of, maybe, but given all the interference from the Vision out there, obviously, I don't think this feud is over yet, and it's gonna continue. So, we'll see what's gonna happen next. But like I said, the Vision end up helping Braun Breaker win this match. Right after that, then we had Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn for the U.S. title. I know they had Lil Yachty back there with him. I guess talking about he's the puppet master and I'm this. The games are over. Let me just say one thing before I get into this match, because yes, I did watch SmackDown yesterday, and I am very surprised they gave that much time to a whole gingerbread man funeral thing, which most of the entire night was either showing like a wake in the back, random people showing up you don't know, multiple AI, and I think it's stupid that they use this AI shit, but AI images and photos of like the gingerbread man at like historical WWE events like Hogan versus Andre and Austin being arrested on Raw and Brock beating the streak and Punk returning to the company. They were doing this all night, even at video packages with Trick and Lil Yachty and a casket and a choir. And by the way, I were they in Jacksonville yesterday. I heard the crowd wasn't even sold out, so I knew it was a lot of empty seats. But you could see the crowd leaving midway through that entire segment. But which once again, they gave this the main event segment. Okay, and listen, I'll admit, I thought it was funny at first with the gingerbread man thing, even when they kind of did it last week because they were just really playing up to it and what Sammy beating up a mannequin and Trick saying like you killed the gingerbread man, you hurt my friend, and they were just really playing. It was just doing too much, honestly. It really was doing too much. I didn't think it needed that many segments. The crazy that got more time than Cody with the WWE title, like kind of tells you something in a way. But this was like WCW 2000 levels of booking. Like it was kind of funny at first, but knowing WWE when they do one thing, they run one joke into the ground because they just overdo it. And I saw like the what Lil Yachty dressed as the gingerbread man, and they beat up Sammy, and I don't know, man, stupid shit. If you ask me, like it was funny at first, but you could see people just immediately leaving during that segment, and they like immediately leaving as soon as it was over too. So it's like, what was the point of this? I get Tricks over and everything, and I get what they're doing, but it was a joke that was just going too long and it looked really dumb. So I wanted to say something about that because I did see the whole gingerbread man throughout the whole night with Sami Zayn and Lil Yachty, which I'm gonna be honest, other than the promo, and I get it works with them, I still feel like he does not serve much of a purpose here. I just feel like he's there for whatever. I even made a joke saying like, y'all might as well bring in Joe Button to put with Sami Zayn in, because we all know Joe Button don't like Lil Yachty. Then again, he don't like a lot of people, but if you know the history of that, look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. As for this match here, obviously Trick was going to be over with the crowd, whoop that Trick. Sami Zayn, talking about the ride or die Sami Zayn fans. I don't know how many of them were out there tonight, even though he kind of came out as a face shaking the crowd's hands. But obviously, Sammy was more of the heel tactics out here, it looked like this time. Obviously, they had Yachty, which I will get to him in a second. But, fans were chanting Sammy sucks. Sammy just looking at the fans, even just slapping Trick around, just throwing him around. Like, he was just throwing him into the corner, even like a big blue thunder bomb, but Trick ended up kicking out of it. Trick did like the booking on him then right after. Sammy got him like another blue thunder bomb, and then Lil Yachty kept getting involved at one point, which Sami Zayn ended up grabbing like the candy cane kendo stick thing, and he hit Trick with it, and obviously it was a 2 count, and he was gonna. Well, he hit Yachty with the kendo stick thing, and he was already back up in a few seconds right after about a way too, because tricking up like hitting like his kick or whatnot, and Sammy kicked out of it, and then they went to the outside of the ring, and what was it like? Sammy threw him back. I think he threw Trick back in because he ended up punching Lil Yachty several times. Which, by the way, he got up like in a few seconds, so he didn't even really sell it. And then even right after, like they were at like the steel steps, and Sammy hit a DDT on him on the steel steps. And then Yachty was back. Like I said, Yachty was back up seconds later. And then Sammy looked at him before he could get back in the ring and hits him with a haluva kick over the crowd, into the crowd then. And then he came back into the ring, and Trick came out, Trick dodged the haluva kick, and hit the trick shot and won. So, by the way, like I said, Lil Yachty, let's say Lil Yachty was back up in several seconds. I get he's not a wrestler, but I just thought it was kind of funny that he literally no-sold almost everything Sammy did. Because I'm like, this dude got hit with a haluva kick, and he's back like in what, 5-10 seconds up later, celebrating with Trick then, like nothing happened. So, I don't know. That was just kind of crazy. I'm not even really surprised who won here. I'm assuming this is gonna move on, and Sammy will just keep going crazy. Maybe yell at Cody again and turn heel, cause which is kind of funny, cause basically again now, like what, Yachty and Trick end up screwing Sammy over, cause Yachty got involved and Sammy got distracted by Yachty and Trick won. So I don't know if this is over. I didn't like they celebrated and they threw money around and Sammy looked dejected. So obviously the crowd really like I said, the crowd was over with Trick. That's really no question. The crowd's over with Trick. They like him. They booed at Sammy and said Sammy sucks. But like I said, hopefully this is over, because the gingerbread man stuff was just too damn ridiculous, and it was just going. It was doing too much, and just to run into the ground and WCW 2000 levels of booking. But yeah, Trick retains, and I'm gonna assume they move on with this. Speaking of more ridiculous matches, in a way, to some extent, we then had Miz and Kit Wilson versus Danhausen and a mystery partner. And he brought a cloning machine out there to see who it was going to be. Now, at first, some people think it was going to think Cena, which I knew that wasn't going to happen because of what happened in WrestleMania. I just knew it wasn't. Some said CM Punk, because CM Punk was the one that brought him into this company, but I didn't think that was going to happen either. But they basically brought in a mini-housing. In other words, a midget, I don't know, a luchador or a mini luchador, or I don't know. Listen, man, the fans just like saying you are cursed, obviously. I'll give Danhausen credit. Like, he's really over, but once again, it's like I said about the whole gingerbread man thing. WWE does tend to run things onto the ground as soon as it gets over, when everybody starts liking it, and then they just kind of overdo it. Do I think the Danhausen stuff is being overdone? To an extent, I don't think so. Like I said, he's over. He sells a lot of merchandise, so, he's doing his thing. But like I said, knowing them, they do tend to overdo stuff that it's like, how far it's going to go. I'm surprised this guy even got a pay-per-view match on here. I didn't even think that was going to happen with this whole feud on SmackDown. But, hey, it got him a pay-per-view match, though. But, like I said, he had the mini-housing luchador thing going on. So, this is what we got. But as for, like, the match itself, though, I feel like it's this. You're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. Obviously, it's going to be, like, a lot of comedy stuff through it in this match. Especially with the mini-housing, just throwing around Miz and, Kid Wilson. Which, gotta say, this guy did have some size, though, whoever he was that was in this match. But, like what? Even Kid, like, put him, like, the Trio Woe thing, and then, like, a big headbutt on him. Which they even had mini-housing, like, sitting up there and even doing, like, a moonsault and stuff. And Miz gets in, and, he starts trying to go after Danhausen, but Danhausen takes him out. And he's firing up, and then, like, he's in, like, a suplex and stuff. And, everybody's channeling on to the whole "you are cursed" thing. And then Wilson, what do he do? Like, he pushed Miz out of the way so, like, Danhausen can, like, take him down. So he sacrificed himself. And next thing you know, like, the mini-housing guy, like, just basically, what is it? Like, hits a dive onto, I think it was Kid Wilson. Somebody hit a dive on. And then, what was, like, mini-housing, like, or was it Kid Wilson? Like, he chased him to the stage then, and went to the cloning machine at the top of the stage. So yeah, Kid Wilson ended up throwing him in there, and then, like, the lights went off, and then next thing you know, basically, like, an army of midgets came in and attacked Kid. Basically, like WrestleMania, they came in and they attacked Kid Wilson, and then they chased him back to the ring, and then one hit like hit a move on Wilson and had the cover on him there, but Miz hit the save then. And then he hit like a skull crushing finale on him, but then Danhausen made the save on him. And he takes down Miz and starts punching him right after. And, he's ended up trying to roar up the crowd then. And then, like, the mini-house just all running around the place. And, Miz got a fire extinguisher, but he was cursed, so it didn't even work. And then Miz sprayed himself, basically. And since he sprayed himself and Kit Wilson, Miz was in the ring. Danhausen cursed him again. And he hit like a big um, dive off the top rope. Well, the mini one did and landed off on Wills to the outside, and then Danhausen had like a big pump kick and won the match. So, like I said, you're either gonna like this match or you're not. It was just basically an army of midgets and Danhausen versus Miz and Kit Wilson. Um, I don't know what else I can say about this. I think the fans just like saying you are cursed. In a way, I'm almost surprised this match went as long as it did. It went like what 11 minutes out there, so it was what it was. I don't even think people were still even with the mini house because even like mini house and came out, there were some boos. So I think people when you hear about these mystery opponents, I didn't know who was going to be with Dan House, and did I think it was just going to be an army of midgets? Not really. I thought it was going to be at least somebody important or something, but I think fans were kind of a little bit out of it at first once they kept doing the whole mini housing thing, and then it was like more of them. And like I said, maybe this guy was a lucha guy. I don't even know. Like he could go. Some say they got him from AAA. I'm not even sure. So it is what it is, I guess. But at the same time, it's like, can I really care that much? Not really. Like if you're into it, you're into it. But I did not really care for it that much. Right after that was EO versus Asuka. I'm gonna be honest. This whole feud, and I know people are chanting, "We want Kyrie out there," okay? And obviously there was no Kyrie Sane, and I feel like now they just had to end this feud here due to Kyrie getting released. I still think it is kind of crazy that throughout this entire feud that they've been doing for months, Kyrie just gets released like in the climax midway through it. Because, like I said before, I thought Kyrie release was gonna end up, standing up for herself and turning on Asuka at the end. But it's almost like now we got the match here. And at this point, I just stopped caring about this feud. And they had a lot of time out there, but I was kind of in and out of this match at the same time. And both of these women are usually really good, and the crowd is gonna be with it, of course. And stuff, but I think it's more to say about the ending of it. Because, Sky, obviously, she's over. EO, what was it? Like, just attacking Asuka. Asuka tried to get, just beating her down, like, several times, throwing her in and out the ring. EO ended up going, what was it, like, I think she had tried, like, a moonsault or something, but, like, basically, like, a big drop from, like, the top rope onto the outside. Like, hit with the Hurricane Rana. I even know they ended up going to the announce table then. And they fought on the announce table, and Asuka basically tried to miss her then, but EO ended up like taking one of the broadcast tables, like notebook pads and whatnot, blocking the miss then, and then ended up EO throwing Asuka to the floor, and then hit like the moonsault right after, got her back into the ring then, and then hit another moonsault, which Asuka ended up hitting the Asuka lock then, catching her after she did the moonsault. But EO ended up, she ended up getting out of it, rolled over Asuka, ended up, getting to the rope to break it. There was like a pin. Fan chanted, "This is awesome." Then right after, both of them kept, trading strikes back and forth. EO, not EO, but Asuka blocked one of the punches, hit like a big suplex then on her right after. And then EO came back with another German suplex, and then ended up hitting like the double knees into the corner. EO hit the moonsault and won. And then right after, they just both hugged and were very emotional then. So throughout this entire feud, which Asuka has just been trying to take off EO's head, and they betrayed her a while ago that they've had to bring in Ripley, and maybe because Kyrie, and I knew Kyrie was not going to be involved in this. This is this is not an R-Truth situation, okay? This is not one of those type of things. I don't think it ever was. Like I like Kyrie, but it's not like people was really with Kyrie like that beforehand. It's just like now they're mad because she got released from the company, and I think just because of the midway through the storyline now. But all it was, like I said, EO and Asuka just hugged and were very emotional, and that's kind of it. Okay, and they bowed to each other. So yeah, this whole feud is now over. I think it's probably done because Kyrie is gone. But throughout all of this, because I guess she earned her respect, something like that. But and I'm gonna be honest, as long as it kept going with them like hugging each other and stuff, I actually thought Asuka was just gonna end up, missing her and attacking her from behind. But no, I guess this is just over now. So I don't know. And I'm like, as long as the story's been going, I thought it was like I said, EO got the win in the feel good moment, but I didn't really expect Asuka to do the whole we got to show respect to each other right after. So it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, I didn't think it was gonna end off with them just hugging and everything. I thought somebody was gonna end up turning on somebody. I thought Asuka was gonna turn on her, but it ends there, I guess. So And like I said, I think Kyrie being gone maybe now rushed the storyline to end. So I guess that's it. Um, right after John Cena came out, John Cena, of course, in his suit, runs to the ring, does his whole pose and stuff. And, he wonders what his role would be now after losing his final match. Fans trying to say one more match then. And, like I said, John Cena's over. He says, I knew you guys would say that, but he said he was happy with his final match. What do you want to believe that and that? Cena basically talked about, I brought opportunity when he did Saturday night's main event and show names like Sol Ruka and Javon Evans and Oba Femi and all that. And look where Oba is now, how over he is. Just months later, he was kicking Brock Lesnar's ass at WrestleMania. And, he wants to do it again. And he called this the John Cena Classic. And this is how he explained this. John Cena basically said it's going to feature WWE and NXT wrestlers. So basically just NXT versus, main roster. It's going to be for a new title. I guess it's going to be called the John Cena title or something. But he says it's not just any championship. He said his name is going to be on it. And he's going to call, he said that the WWE Universe are the biggest superstars in WWE. So they're going to vote for this now. And the fans' voice is going to be, heard louder than ever. So you get to vote who beats the champion. And every wrestler will qualify for the voting. And even if you lose a match, you can still be voted to be the champion because you showed heart and hustle out there. They could vote for you to still be the champion. And he wants to promise to give everything to the fans and whatnot. And he doesn't want this to be a one-year event. He wants this to be, every year for a long time now. And he just thanked the fans. And I'm gonna be honest. Let me just say this about this whole tournament or whatever this is. Okay, so let me get this straight. So even if you lose a match in this whole, I don't know if it's even a tournament to be honest, but you can still win the title by the fans voting. This sounds like some Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Sunday type of thing. And I don't even know if we really need more titles. And listen, I've heard enough of, Classic after name or some type of tournament, whether it be the Dusty Classic or the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale or what else name they've had after like the Mae Young Classic and stuff. Honestly, this sounds very kind of, I don't know, convoluted at first. I hope this isn't like one of these crown jewel type of things where you just win a title and don't do nothing with it till like a year later. I'm trying to understand the concept, and I want to try to give this a chance because I'm gonna be honest. I'm really surprised John Cena's even back here again. Like seriously, because I'm like, did we really need him to sell out tickets? Like, don't y'all got Roman? But I feel like Cena is just here just to help kind of sell some tickets and stuff. And I know people want to see John Cena, even though he's not wrestling anymore. I'm just surprised he just keeps coming back already. I'm like, damn, for a guy that's retired, I did not expect him to be back so fast. Like, being back at WrestleMania and now being in Backlash, I was like, you back already? I said this back in the WrestleMania review. Like, you back already? So, to host it and stuff. So, I'm really trying to understand this whole thing. But it's basically the John Cena title. And it's main roster versus NXT guys. And, maybe it'll be 2 titles for both men and the women, but basically the fans vote. So it doesn't even matter if you win this match. The fans get the vote if you become the champion. So win or lose, you could still win even if you lose. Because you showed heart and grit and determination out there. And you earn the fans' respect, so you win even though you lost. Yeah, I don't know how much sense this makes. We'll see what happens, but once again, this sounds like a Cyber Sunday, Taboo Tuesday type of voting thing here. And I don't know how much this title will be defended. Because if you win this title, and they're going to do this classic thing every year, do you defend this title? Or is this like a... Honestly, why did he just talk about King of the Ring then? Just say he was bringing King of the Ring back again. Like, I would have gone on with that or something. I don't know what the point of even winning this belt is. Like, the John Cena title... And we don't even know what this belt looks like. This is all his idea, apparently. So, we'll see what happens. But at the same time, I feel like this was padding for time. At least he did come out and talk about Club WWE. Because a lot of people thought he was going to do that. But to what I saw online, John Cena was talking about just going to shake the foundation of WWE. I don't know how much of a foundation is really shook, but time will tell whenever this event is gonna happen. So yeah, and other than more shameless plug advertisement from Cole and Barrett with root beer and all that, we do get to the main event, which I think it's kind of funny. John Cena says we're here at our main event, but then we got to show more commercials, ads, post-show stuff, and a video package before getting to the main event. And Jacob Fatu came out there. He's got like the Samoan Laid and all that. I guess that was made by Haku's daughter and stuff. And they talk about the tongue and depth grip on commentary as Roman Reigns came out there then and talked about both of these guys' history. FCW with Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu talk about West Coast Pro and I think it's a House of Glory and GCW, surprisingly, but I guess WWE's been around those guys lately. Some say they didn't even mention MLW, but I think MLW tried to sue them and they got a settlement after that. But the world title on the line, Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. Obviously, the match to really look forward to on this show. I did enjoy this match. I thought it was good. They have really been doing their best to get Jacob over, especially with the Tongan depth grip to go against Roman Reigns. And he was really kind of dominant over Reigns at first throughout this match, throwing him outside the ring, hit him with the die, still trying to go. He's got like the tape fingers, trying to get that Tongan depth grip in. Fans were basically, chanting OTC and Let's Go Jacob. Right after Reigns ended up taking it out with a few clotheslines. Then Jacob came back, hit him with like the splash. Even doing like Umaga stuff out there. Running to the corner and everything, and like doing his whole strut, like the whole shaking and all that. Even like Reigns hit him with a super kick, but but Fatu ended up like no selling it. Then just throwing Reigns around, hitting with like the some headbutts right after. But right after that, Reigns came back with like a Superman punch then right after for a 2 count. Reigns came back, hit him with like another dive. But Jacob tried to go back for the Tongan death grip again. But Reigns ended up getting out of the hold and whatnot. And Jacob ended up, he powerbombed Reigns through the announce table on the outside too. So he ended up doing that, throwing him back in the ring like a near fall. Reigns tried to go for another spear right after. He charged at him, but Jacob got the Samoan drop and everything. And then Jacob did like his big moonsault, which they called a mighty moonsault. I don't know why they call it that, but he hit the whole double jump moonsault and stuff for another near fall. Both guys start, just trading punches back and forth several times, and then doing like uppercuts on each other. Jacob ended up took Reigns down and hit him like a hip attack then, and then he was, going for the Tongan death grip, and he did hit on him. Reigns like he was starting to fade right after, and he kept grabbing onto the referee then. Reigns hit him like a couple Superman punches then, ended up hitting a spear on him, but it was still a near fall. Reigns, wonder if it really was a 2 count. Jacob hit another Tongan death grip at him, but Reigns ended up like reaching, grabbing the referee, and then he ripped off the turnbuckle pad right after, and then threw Jacob into it, and then Reigns hit another spear after hitting Jacob on the exposed turnbuckle, and then hitting a pin on him. Jacob immediately really got back up right after, so he kind of damn near no-sold the spear in a way, and getting hit by the turnbuckle exposed, and he was very surprised what happened right after. Jacob grabbed the referee, and then, he let him go, but then he did like the Tongan death grip onto Reigns again. The referee tried to stop him, but Jacob ended up taking him down there, hit him with a Samoan drop, and then he's just basically just trying to kill Roman and still putting that Tongan death grip, and then like several producers and referees come out there then. Jacob ended up super kicking one of them. He threw Adam Pearce to the floor on the outside, and they kept trying to pull Jacob off as he's just basically killing Roman out there. And he says, I told him. Basically, he was going to take everything. And then Jacob, he left, but then he ran back in the ring, and then, just still trying to hit the Tongan death grip, trying to choke Reigns out. And Reigns is just spitting out, like, just his own spit and just breathing for air as, he held up the title belt right after. So I don't know if this is going to be the way to right Roman Reigns off the show, because apparently he's supposed to be gone for the month of June, I think. I know they still got like the Clash of Italy show. I think that's at the end of the month, if I'm not mistaken. So got another show coming up real soon too. But and I will say this, there wasn't no interferences from anybody out there, even though there's been several people involved in this feud. So no Usos getting involved, no Solo or the MFTs. No, Powerhouse Hobbs out there getting involved, because we kind of seen him around in this too. This is basically just a one-on-one match, and obviously it's going to set up for a rematch. So maybe the rematch will happen at clash in Italy, it looked like, because like I said, Reigns ended up using the exposed turnbuckle to throw Jacob in just to get out of that tongue and death grip and then hit a spear. So obviously this feud is not over and it's going to continue. And obviously they just, this feud, like I said, not the feud, but this whole angle right after just to get more Jacob over, just being unhinged and dangerous and stuff, just crazy, just using that tongue and death grip now, just trying to kill him and all that. But that's basically what was the big thing out of this match. Obviously, it was the match I really look forward to throughout this whole show. So honestly, when I look at Backlash, this show wasn't too long. I think the show came by very fast, by the way. Because the only thing I can really say out of this whole show is this. I think Seth and Braun was really good. I think that was probably maybe the best match out of the night. Obviously, Jacob and Roman for what we got from there. The Cena match seems very kind of confusing in a way. I don't know how to really feel about that all the way right now. So we'll see what happens, but it does feel kind of convoluted in a way. Io and Asuka, I'm assuming this feud is over, but then again, I didn't really care much going into this, so I was kind of in and out of it, so I'm assuming this is going to be done. The Danhausen, Miz, Kit Wilson stuff, take that however you want it, whether you enjoyed that or not. It's just like, how far can we keep going with this? The Trick Sammy thing, once again, it's maybe because of the whole gingerbread man angle. I was like, I'm kind of ready for this to be over now, because I'd seen too much of that, and Yachty is just... it is what it is with him. So this show didn't overstay its welcome. And I think Tampa was a pretty hot crowd out there too tonight. So they really were over with a lot of this stuff. So yeah. Other than that, that's all I really got to say about Backlash. It's not really much to say than what I just said. So the show, it is what it is, I guess. So we'll see what happens next. Other than that, I'm done talking about this. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys then. Comment, subscribe, hit the like button, notification bell. We out of here. Peace.